Jyoti's Puja Store is your one-stop puja store for all puja, wedding and cremation materials. Also available books, mithai and murtis made to order. Visit Jyoti's Puja Store today and be greeted with the kindest and most courteous staff with best prices and secured parking. Jyoti's Puja Store located at 542 Southern Main Road, Chase Village, Shigwanas. Contact 671-3849.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Shigwanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Shigwanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio is now on Facebook. Like us, follow and share our page. We'll be sharing the latest news, tips and much more. You can also view what's happening in our studio. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel at RCL U975.
Let's talk Guyana. Join me, Uma Ratan Singh, as I bring you news, updates, information, culture and traditions of Guyana. Let's talk Guyana, Mondays to Thursdays, just after the 10 a.m. news headlines on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
And a very good morning, Trinidad and Tobago, and thank you very much for choosing 97.5 FM Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio as your medium of choice. I am Kenrick Juggernaut, and yes, I'll be taking you until the hour of 9 this morning as we look at some of the issues of the day, the challenges facing us here in Trinidad and Tobago, and also give you, our ardent listening audience, an opportunity to share, to vent, and to articulate your thoughts with me. Note that the numbers to get into our program are 6367547, 2275739, and you can also WhatsApp us at 3784975. And those of you who would like to catch us live, view us, well, all you need to go is on YouTube and get into RCL U975, and you can also catch us live on Facebook. Good morning, people, and welcome to today's edition of the most interactive morning talk show on the airwaves of Trinidad and Tobago. You Talk with yours truly. Well, as I look out of our studio here in Couva in central Trinidad, it's a bit gloomy this morning, and the Met Office would have indicated that we can expect some showers today. We had some showers yesterday also too, but in the main, yesterday was a bit sunny. today, well, the same pattern may prevail according to the Met Office. So those of you who are venturing outside this morning, please walk with an umbrella. And yes, those people who are vulnerable, as I speak of vulnerability, note that there's the presence of the Saharan dust in the air. And those of you who are suffering with all sorts of respiratory ailments, well, then you need to take all the necessary precaution. Walk with your water, my friend. Walk with your water. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated. So good morning, people. Let me also say a very special good morning to our international audience streaming live with us. Good morning and welcome to today's edition of the morning program. It's the Friday edition. Let me give you a lineup of what you can expect today. A bit later on in the program, I'm expected to speak with former Arima Mayor Roger Samuel. That interview will take place just after 7 o'clock. And just after the 8 o'clock hour, I'll try to get in touch with Omar Khan, who is the manager of the Guyana Amazon Warriors, former cricket administrator, and former manager of the Trinidad and Tobago cricket team, and also the West Indies cricket team, to get his thoughts on, yes, Caribbean Premier League. Caribbean Premier League is due to bowl off next week on the 18th at venues in Trinidad. Most noted also, these games will be played at the Queen's Park Oval and also at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy. It should be very interesting knowing that this competition or this tournament will be played in a bubble, so to speak, of course, in a bubble. My understanding is that all of the players who are scheduled to take part in this tournament, they have all tested negative. So we'll keep the pulse on what is happening with that tournament. 975 FM, hot like pepper. But as of now, let me keep you abreast as to some of the major stories as published in today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Well, in today's edition of the Newsday, it's 64 pages, and there's a very graphic photograph published on the cover where inmates of the women's prison in Golden Grove in Aruca saw face masks for prisoners yesterday. Note that the country would have recorded 404 positive cases of COVID-19. Interesting that yesterday 78 cases were reported. Let me repeat that figure. 78 cases were reported yesterday. And at that press conference on Wednesday, the chief medical officer, I don't want to sound as though I'm repeating myself, but I just want to impress this upon you. Yes, the chief medical officer, Dr. Roshan Parasram, and Dr. Avery Hines, as they spoke at that media conference, insisted or alerted the people of Trinidad and Tobago that we can see a spike in cases in the next coming days and in the next coming weeks. Why? Because of the recent movement of people. I guess they were talking about the campaigning by the major political parties in this country, and also the fact that some people are not adhering to the guidelines as outlined by the Ministry of Health. Please, people, wear your mask when you are in public. Wear your mask. When you look at what is happening in the United States, well, the virus is raging in the United States. Over 5 million people would have been infected with the virus only in the United States, and the death toll continues. Are you aware of people that over 1,000 people on a daily basis dies in the United States? Let me pause a bit so that can sink into you. Over 1,000 people die in the United States as a result of the coronavirus. We've got to be grateful thus far that in Trinidad, well, we would have only recorded 8 deaths. But that is not something to gloat about. The fact that we have 404 cases in the country is quite alarming indeed. Note that we are a population of 1.3, 1.4 million people. Yes, so on the cover of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper, the banner headline is saying to us this morning, Archbishop warns of dangerous path of online rants. No place for race. The Election and Boundaries Commission, the United National Congress, obstructing Tonapuna recount. Now you can catch this banner headline and story on page 3, where the Archbishop is a warning of dangerous path of online rants. No place for race. Let me share this first paragraph with you. Archbishop of Port of Spain, Jason Gordon, is warning the country that it is going down a dangerous path by engaging in open online warfare where the weapon of choice is derogatory, insulting, inflammatory, and in some cases, racist posts over social media. Interesting indeed. Well, I've always advocated, or rather made the point, that there are a number of bloggers on social media, a number of people who go on social media and get into their keyboard and, post one set of nonsense and utter rubbish. They make statements, they make claims as though these claims are facts. Sometimes it's disgusting indeed, hence the reason why I don't even give it the necessary oxygen on this program. Anyway, you can catch the details of that story on page 3 of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Kamla Prasad Bisesa, let's work past this painful time in nation's history. I guess she's talking about the election, the result of the general election. While it must be painful and disappointing to supporters of the United National Congress, preliminary results would have indicated that the People's National Movement would have won the general election 22-19. There are recounts ongoing in 5 constituencies, and according to the Election and Boundaries Commission, now this story is published on page 5, the United National Congress obstructing Tonapuna recount. A point also shared by Colm Imbert at a press conference. Colm Imbert is the chair of the People's National Movement, and he's taking serious issue with attempts made, quote-unquote, attempts made by the United National Congress to stall the proceedings. So that story you can catch on page 5 of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. UNC St. Joseph candidate queries 159 quote-unquote spoilt ballots. Well, the candidate for St. Joseph is or would have been Aloy Hunt. And in a sidebar story, Kamla Prasad Bisesa, Dr. Rowley bullying, deviously undermining citizens. UNC leader Kamla Prasad Bisesa believes the Prime Minister is bullying the public and attempting to deviously undermine her party's constitutional rights. In a post yesterday, Prasad Bisesa, who is yet to concede defeat in Monday's general election, addressed Dr. Rowley's response to the UNC's asking for recounts in 5 constituencies. On a television program, Dr. Rowley said the call for recounts in constituencies where the UNC lost by thousands of votes is part of a deliberate strategy to prevent the smooth transition of government after the election. Well, look, there's a process. There's a process to be followed. And while the United National Congress, and by extension the candidates, have that within their mandate to call for a recount, there must be a cutoff point, my people. There must be a cutoff point, because the country needs to be governed by a new administration. Venezuelan embassy supports assaulted teenager. Remember, we would have spoken about that story yesterday, where a Venezuelan teenager was raped viciously. Well, the Venezuelan embassy is supporting the teenager. The story said the Venezuelan embassy in this country began monitoring and supporting a young Venezuelan woman who was attacked on Tuesday in Siparia. That story you can catch on page 4 of today's edition of the Newsday newspaper. Remember, you can go outside there and purchase your copy of this publication, priced at only $3. 78 new cases send COVID-19 total to 404. That story is on page 7. 78 new cases confirmed yesterday have sent the country's overall COVID-19 infection total to 404. Interesting story too. Third prison officer has COVID-19. 77 quarantine. Yeah, listen to this. A third prison officer has tested positive for COVID-19. head of the medical department of the prison service, Deputy Commissioner Lopez, said the woman was confirmed as COVID-19 positive on Wednesday night and was quarantined. People, I stopped this morning to purchase my newspaper from my favorite newspaper vendor, Mr. Gilbert, in St. Clements Junction. And he would have had on his mask, had on his gloves, and whatever to protect himself, being part of the vulnerable group. He was again making the point to me that as a people, we are not adhering to the guidelines, we are not supporting the measures as outlined by the Ministry of Health. This thing could be overwhelming. It could get out of hand. I read this morning where some doctor some 2 weeks ago said by the end of this year, this country could record over 2,000 cases of COVID-19. Now, I'm not frightening people here or raising any alarm. It's just a figure the doctor would have said it to us. Over 2,000 by the end of this year. A very frightening figure indeed. Note also too that we've got a health system which is quite overwhelmed indeed. Whether or not these steps down facilities, quarantine centers can, let's say, cope with the influx. Yeah, my word, influx of people suffering with COVID-19. Well, that's another question altogether. But it's a very frightening situation indeed. Let's go back to what are some of the other stories as published in today's edition of the Newsday. Minister Imbut, UNC is frustrating recount deliberately. He's also saying that the UNC pretended not to know results on election night. Recount delays government swearing in. The story said the recount of the ballots for 5 constituencies in Monday's general election has delayed the swearing in of the new government. And into some crime news now. Marbella man on murder charge. That story is on page 9. So go outside there, purchase a copy of this publication. It is priced, as I said, only $3, and it's available at all leading newsstands throughout the country. The Newsday newspaper, worthwhile reading. It is chock full of news, views, interviews, and yes, you can also get the latest in the world of sports. Stay with us here. 975 FM, hot like pepper, as we climb up to the hour of 7 o'clock. Just about 25 minutes here to the hour of 7. Let's go to some commercials. And when I come back, I'll open the lines where you can call me at 636-7547, 227-5739.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
You can now listen to business news Monday to Fridays at 5 p.m. Get updated on all the latest business developments. Tune in to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, where we keep you informed, educated, and entertained. U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio is now on Facebook. Like us, follow and share our page. We'll be sharing the latest news, tips and much more. You can also view what's happening in our studio. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel at RCL U975.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
Yes, indeed, and thanks for staying with us here at 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. We're moving up to the hour of 7 o'clock. Just about 21 minutes here to the hour of 7. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Well, two of the biggest stories making the news within the last couple of days is the result of the 2020 general election. And one newspaper this morning described it as what they call standoff between the United National Congress and the People's National Movement, as the Election and Boundaries Commission still has to announce officially, of course, who would have won the 2020 general election. Note that preliminary figures would have said that the People's National Movement would have copped the 2020 election 22-19. 5 seats, there are still recounts ongoing in 5 seats, and according to Chair of the People's National Movement, Colm Imbert, the UNC is deliberately stalling the process. Now, I want to get your thoughts on that, because I listened to yesterday also to Anita Haynes, the Public Relations Officer of the United National Congress, who would have stated emphatically that the party is just exercising its constitutional right, that is to ask for recount in these constituencies, given reports of irregularities. And well, that is something which we'll continue to look at. But in every election in this country, there's always this element of irregularities, concerns, hiccups, and what have you. But at the end of the day, I am hoping that good sense can prevail, and we can get on with the running and the governing of Trinidad and Tobago. We do not want a stalemate as to what would have transpired in Guyana. Note that Guyana would have held its election on the 2nd of March, and only about 2 weeks ago that Irfan Ali was installed as president of Guyana. We don't want that situation here in Trinidad and Tobago. We don't want all of these matters to be tied up in court, because it does not augur well for a people and for a country. That's my thought on this. Now, there's this also story about fanning the flames of racism in this country, especially what is currently taking place. The narrative is taking place on social media. But here it is, you have Jason Gordon, the Archbishop of Port of Spain. He's saying we are blinded by race. Maybe this gentleman has now woke up from his slumber. This country has always been engulfed in race, especially at around an election time. And for some reason or the other, people, stakeholders, the decision makers are a bit reluctant to even deal with this matter. Race relations in Trinidad and Tobago is something which we need to be addressed. And I listened to a psychologist yesterday, and I want to endorse most, or if not everything, she would have said. She would have said race relations is something which should be on the curriculum of schools. I'm talking here about primary schools and secondary schools. This should be on the curriculum of the Ministry of Education, race relations in Trinidad and Tobago. I don't know how many of you would support my call here this morning, but I would love to get your take on it. To do so, you need to call me at 636-7547, 227-5739. And also, this matter concerning COVID-19, 404 cases, people. Let me pause deliberately. 404 cases in this twin island republic of ours. Again, I am making an appeal to all citizens to please ensure when you're out in the public that you wear masks, adhere to all of the guidelines. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Kendrick.
Hi, good morning to you, sir. How are you this morning? Good morning.
Not bad, thank you, man.
Well, you have a mouthful for me this morning, yes?
No, I heard about, but I stay in clear the politics.
Why, boy? You would have been quite
Well,
vociferous.
the die has already been cast.
Uh-huh.
You know. But I want to talk about this question of race.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Kendrick, where do we learn about race?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we always hear about we don't want the race talk and stop the race talk, and why are we talking about race? But from the very time a child opens his eye in this country, and I've been making this call over and over, the first thing they learn about in this country is race. It's in the national anthem. When you put in the national anthem, let every creed and race find an equal place. You are alerting children from a very tender age that there is something called race in this country.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
And
we should remove that word from the national anthem.
And then that maybe it is signaling to the young minds that
exactly.
Yeah.
We grew up for 3-4 years. We sit on side by side, right? Some African, some African origin, some Indian origin. And from the time we start getting 15, 16, we get conscious that you are a different race, that me and I'm a different race, because it's embedded in their minds that there's something called race in this country. Remove the word as race from the national anthem and insert citizen.
And this matter is also fueled in some homes, eh?
Yes. That parents teach the children about it. Watch this one, you know. You see the thing and the that, and that is how it goes on. If you don't put that in the children's mind at such a tender age, that there's something like called race in this country, insert the word citizen. So you will know I am a citizen, you are a citizen, regardless of what hair you have on your head.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? That will go a long way in eradicating this stigma that everybody has some different race and we have a different race. But they put it in the national anthem and they don't expect people to talk about it.
But hold on, do you think that this matter, race relations, should be part of the school curriculum?
Well, you mean to be discussed in school?
Yes, look, in order to solve a problem, if there is a problem, you must discuss it. But if you continue to sweep it under the carpet, there will be pockets of dissent all over the place.
Well, I am saying if you remove the word race from the national anthem, so at a very tender age, children wouldn't learn about race. They wouldn't know what is race. They will grow up knowing that you just look different to me, you have different hair in your head to me, but we are all citizens. And that should be the underlying point in this whole thing.
All right, hold on. I am going to provoke you and the listening audience this morning, and people will take issue with me, but that's all right. That's all right. I don't care if they take issue with me. But why is it only when particular grouping of people speak about discrimination and so on, it is being viewed as a racist comment?
Exactly, and you're absolutely correct.
No, I'm not putting water in my mouth to say what I have to say this morning.
You're right, because it was only when Indian people make any kind of statement that they jump on and start to talk race.
And
look, did you hear what Roger said about the media? That they are what? House Negroes, but he didn't say Negroes, he used the stronger word.
Yeah.
You know, no, and he said he stand by his statement.
And
nobody talk about race.
No one said anything about boycotting the OWTO and taking seriously. Nobody said anything to him, you know.
They're still in line to get the refinery.
Yeah. Nobody said anything to him.
I heard a PNM activist on a radio station in the 2015 election stop asking people, stop buying rotis, stop buying doubles. You understand? Nobody didn't say nothing about that. He get two CPAP contracts as a reward from the PNM. But anytime any Indian person say anything close to anything looks on in race or give somebody a hand, a banana or something, they see race in it. You understand? So I am saying we got to stop it, nip it in the bud. We got to remove that word race from the national anthem so children wouldn't be at a very tender age being aware that there's something called race in this country. Thank you, Kenneth.
All right, well, thank you very much for your thoughts with me this morning. I just want to quote here. Okay, let me take these callers on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Kenneth, President, good morning to you.
And good morning to you, my friend. Good morning.
Kenneth, hear us. When Kamala Prasad called Rowley Oriu, people had a problem. But then recently, this man said, yellow cheesehead. Nobody said nothing. So it is convenient that when East Indian make a racial comment, it's a problem. But when the other side says something, it's okay. Secondly, Kendrick, I've been wondering if this PNM used this COVID to campaign on the election.
Say that again, if they use what, COVID?
The COVID to campaign for the election. Why I'm saying that? Election done. And all of a sudden, cases start to skyrocket. How before election, every day you only get one case and two cases?
No, but hold on. Let me just shed some. Okay. Well, I'm just trying to clear up something here. Stay on the line with me.
Yeah.
The chief medical officer said the fact that we have these spike in cases is not that these new cases are coming to the fore. Is the fact that a test would have been done and done within the recent days or what have you, even before the general election, and these tests now coming back as stating quite to be positive. And one would have to appreciate too also that the fact that we would have had a general election in this country and a number of people would have been quote unquote rubbing shoulders with one another. Hence we are having this spike.
Okay, Kenek.
No, I mean that's quite logical indeed, don't you think?
Okay, Kenek.
Unless of course you are disputing the figures and the comments coming from the chief medical officer.
Well, we'll just have to see what's going on. But thanks again, Kenek.
All right, no, I'm just trying to be honest as possible. Hello, good morning and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kelvin.
Well, I guess you would have enjoyed how I responded to that caller, yes?
The bursty bubble.
Go ahead.
The just burst his bubble because he was coming with a conspiracy theory. And when it was logic and science, there's no conspiracy theory. So it just burst his bubble. When I burst Mr. Wrong silk in a bubble. Mr. Kenneth, good morning, Adi.
Good morning.
And my East Indian, Trinbagonian brothers and sisters. You all are not East Indian from India. Because I listened to your boy last night. He might be the most Hindu spoken pundit that I know. You know what I'm talking about?
You mean our program on evenings, yes?
Evening. I hear big Hindu people call there and sometimes I'm an apex. So I don't want to hear that about Hinduism or not Hinduism. How you call when you're speaking in Hindi? Half of people who want to claim they are Indians knows nothing about it. Stick to the religion. When I was a child, I grew up in a community, and I always never understand nothing about race. My parents never teach me nothing about it. I grew up in a yard where the landlord, eventually when I get to know, was Muslim. So I moved, my parents built a house. My friends around are all East Indian. I have no African friends unless they come most to the Kenya where I was living. Then my parents built a house. So these friends that I grew up with remain my friends. I go to school in an African school, but in my community where I live, these are my friends. And I'm getting older, and there's a funeral. And I'm in a house, upstairs and downstairs, and neighbors who block 2 houses up the road, old man died. And here the man in the house, see all of them kneel down and they pop the bottom up in the air. Trying to say, what are you talking about? I must be about 11 years old. What are you talking about, man? So I sit down. As you get older, you understand. You know what was the difference, Mr. Kendrick? One was a Hindu and one was a Muslim. And then I get to understand that I was different to them. And then I get to understand that I'm an African and they are East Indians. And in my community at one time, if I'm a Muslim and my daughter is and your daughter is a Hindu, no way two of them married in. So I don't want to hear about discrimination. This thing didn't start today. And when Baldev Pandey came into office and took over the sugarcane union, that is when and turned sugarcane workers into politicians to fight for labor. That is when it became worse.
No, my friend, you're sharing an opinion. I had to cut you because I had to up to the hour of 7 o'clock. I had to cut you there because you're making claims which you cannot substantiate. You're just sharing an opinion. You would have just indicated that this matter of discrimination and racism and so on did not start today, would have been with us for a long, long while. And then you go back to Basdev Pandey and saying it was fueled by Basdev Pandey, and when sugar workers, so to speak, of course, or those from labor try to walk in the corridors of power, you are making claims which you cannot substantiate. I'm not a political analyst, nor am I a historian, but I'm just trying to be as honest as possible. Race has been with us for the longest while. I can throw your mind back many years ago in the 1960s, where one Dr. Eric Williams coined the term. You want me to remind you of the term? Just for argument purposes? Anyway, I won't. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. How are you?
I'm doing fine this morning, friend. How are you keeping?
Well, it's a good program, as usual. Ken, some questions are hard to answer. Right, but I'll tell you something. You see this thing about race? Everything is good about race relations and so forth. But a lot of this race is actually started in homes of people.
Well, I just said that.
And no, and I agreed with you. Just as education, education, all the good and bad of education starts in the home. Race and racial thinking starts in the home.
So why are the stakeholders, or why are decision makers afraid to talk about this openly?
Well, I think, as you say, I think it is time now that we should really, really come together and sit down and talk honestly.
But you hold on. The discussion about racial tension in this country only comes on the public domain only when an Indo-Trinidadian make certain statements, you know.
Well, that is basically true. That is basically true. But all of that is why we have to get together and put it for discussion. That is true, Ken, but I mean, we have to sit down and talk about it. Look, I mean, I belong to a mixed family, right, Ken? And I will tell you something. A lot of the race thing is not overt. It's very covert. When you see how your parents and your relatives act, you see around marriage time and so forth. I mean, you get it in some homes. You know, you get it. Do some people overtly tell you, don't bring anybody of the opposite race in my home?
And then hold on. We need to talk about discrimination too, you know. And discrimination wears a number of colors, you know.
Oh well, certainly.
I remember the chair of the Police Service Commission would have been hounded out of office because of some measure he wanted to take with the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. He was hounded out of office. No, you see, we need to talk about these things. People are afraid to talk about it.
Correct, Ken. Growing up, I also remember, if you cast your mind back, there was an Anglican priest called Father Winston Joseph in the Anglican Church. And he was on the verge of becoming, I think, bishop and so forth. And there was some, conflagration and so forth. And the man packed up his bag and he went to Canada. And if you look at it, there are several personalities in this country that, I mean, it affects them. It affects rather beauty. But as you say, we need to sit down and talk about this. I am not saying it's not that totally bad again. It could be retrieved because, as you say, this thing, and I agree with you. I mean, I am of, basically, mixed race, mostly Indian, yes. And I went to a school where 90% of the people were Indians and 10% were Africans, right?
All right. Well, let's leave it there for a while. I need to head up to the 7 o'clock news hour. Just about 3 minutes here to the hour of 7 o'clock. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio, 975 FM, hot like a pepper. And you have some of these church leaders who will sit and stay very, very quiet indeed. Very, very quiet. And all of a sudden, they come out of the closet and talk about race in Trinidad and Tobago as though it never existed. You see, some of them just sweep it under the carpet. They do not want to tackle it head on. And that's why I made a call this morning that race relations in this country is a matter for the Ministry of Education, and it should be part of the school curriculum. I don't know how many of you outside here would agree with me on that, but you can share your thoughts with me just after the 7 o'clock hour. 975 FM, hot like pepper. You can call us this morning, 636-7547, 227-5739. Our WhatsApp number at 378-4975. Again, let me remind you that the number of positive COVID-19 cases in Trinidad and Tobago now stands at 404. And given what the chief medical officer would have said at that press conference on Wednesday, well, we can expect a spike. Well, we already have a spike in front of us. 78 cases were recorded yesterday. Yes, 78 cases recorded yesterday. And we can expect more and more people being infected. Why? Because the people we just too bloody hardened. We don't take anything seriously. We don't take anything seriously. I challenge any one of you here this morning. Visit any watering hole a bit later on, just after 4 o'clock or 5 o'clock or so, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. You will see exactly what I am talking about. People not adhering to the guidelines, more so with social distancing, staying 5 and 6 feet away from one another. But when something untoward happens, they want to blame everybody except themselves. I call it as I see it, who vex loss. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. We're up to the 7 o'clock newscast with Nicole Dookie.
FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning. Faris Alwari has been officially declared as the next Member of Parliament for San Fernando. This comes after a recount in the constituency following Monday's general elections. UNC candidate Sean Sobers increased by 11 votes, whilst Nicholas Edwards and Faris Alwari both increased by 1 vote. Alwari spoke to members of the media following the recount last night.
We have just completed the final count for the seat of San Fernando West, and I'm very pleased to announce that the victory has been confirmed. I stand as the Member of Parliament properly elected for San Fernando West in the 2020 general election.
The recount started on Tuesday afternoon and was not completed until last night. Alwari explained the reason for the length of time.
People may be wondering why this took so long. On election night in San Fernando, we have 59 polling divisions. You would have 59 presiding officers. They would have deputies. Each of the parties would have their representatives, and therefore each of the 62 boxes counted in the 59 polling divisions would have many people counting simultaneously. In this exercise, Mr. Ramdeen, as the returning officer, had to physically check 15,000 plus ballots, as well as the polling cards, stubs, etc., for each one of the 62 boxes.
Alwari said there were no problems arising out of the recount.
I'd like to say that the exercise was a proper one. The final count that was requested by the UNC is in keeping with the Representation of the People's Act, and one can make no complaint in relation to that. The exercise conducted by the EBC under the very experienced hand of Mr. Ramdeen was an excellent exercise, and I wish to compliment the EBC for demonstrating not only what a final count looks like, but the actual accuracy of the polling itself.
The People's National Movement has called on the Elections and Boundaries Commission to expedite the recount process. Chairman of the party, Colm Imbert, accused the UNC of reckless behavior intended to disrupt the election process. He was speaking at a media conference yesterday.
I don't know whose signature that is. I don't like how that X looking. In Sandy Grande, the person the UNC sent was so ridiculous. The person said the X must be dead center between the two. There's not at all. I'm only laughing. There's nothing to laugh for. It's thing to cry.
The party has written an official letter to the chairman of the Elections and Boundaries Commission expressing concerns over the demands by the opposition.
I've urged the EBC to implement Rule 101 of the election rules, which says that the process is to be carried out in a fair, careful, efficient, and expeditious manner. We've never had anything like this in Trinidad and Tobago before. Never.
The party chairman also commented on reports of polling cards being discarded at Pinto Road, Arima.
Whoever threw them there, that was the place to throw them. If you are going to commit some sort of fraud and you somehow get your hands on people's poll cards, you go throw them in the bush for everybody to see. And why it is the former MP and former UNC minister was the only man who knew about these poll cards. We think that is just too convenient.
In some other news, active COVID-19 cases have risen to 257 as 35 cases have been added to the tally. According to the Ministry of Health's 6 p.m. update, the 35 cases are from samples taken between August 6th and yesterday. 13 contacts of recently positive cases and 22 are under investigation. Since the start of the pandemic, 404 samples have tested positive and 139 persons have been discharged, and there have been 8 deaths. A 45-year-old Las Cuevas man is expected to appear before a Port of Spain magistrate today. He was charged with 32 counts of assisting Venezuelan nationals to enter Trinidad and Tobago at a place other than a port of entry. The man, who is a boat captain, was arrested on Saturday when his fishing boat was intercepted by police, Coast Guard and immigration officers. Investigators found 32 Venezuelans aboard the boat. The boat captain and the immigrants were placed in quarantine and interviewed by the police. Police said boat captains are being paid as much as $300 per passenger. If convicted, the captain can face a fine of $50,000 or 3 years imprisonment, or second conviction of $100,000 or 5 years imprisonment. You are listening to the 7 a.m. news on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's now time to take a look at regional and international developments. Regionally, the number of COVID-19 cases in Belize continues to creep upward. The country's number of active cases have risen to 262. Belize recorded 86 new COVID-19 cases on August 12th. The majority of these cases are related to previously identified cases. Belize's Officer of Director of Health Services in its latest update said it progresses with further case investigation in terms of the identified cases. It can confirm several villages in the Orange Walk district would have at least one case mostly linked to a construction site in San Pedro. Internationally, Australia has recorded its lowest one-day rise in coronavirus infections in more than 3 weeks as Melbourne remains under strict lockdown. Official data on Thursday showed there were 292 new infections in 24 hours, down from 428 on Wednesday. It is the lowest daily total since July 20th. Victoria had by far the most infections, 278. Its capital, Melbourne, began its shutdown on August 3rd. Health Minister Greg Hunt voiced cautious optimism about the new data. In Melbourne, workers must carry a permit to leave home, and all non-essential businesses have been shut. Mask wearing in public is also compulsory. For more than a month, the city's residents, nearly 5 million people, have been required to stay at home except for essential shopping trips, medical care, or exercise. In news of the weather for the period today until tonight, Trinidad and Tobago partly cloudy to cloudy with occasional showers and the medium chance of daytime thunderstorms and becoming settled by nighttime. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding can be experienced in areas under heavy showers and thunderstorms. Seas are moderate with waves up to 1.5 meters in open waters and less than 1 meter in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. And this brings us to the end of the 7 a.m. newscast on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Stay tuned for another newscast at 8 a.m. this morning. I am Nicole Dookie. Have a good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Leisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago Newsday. A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus, my name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio is now on Facebook. Like us, follow and share our page. We'll be sharing the latest news, tips and much more. You can also view what's happening in our studio. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel at RCL U975.
Yes, indeed, and thanks for staying with us here at 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Just about 13 minutes past the hour of 7 o'clock. Know that a bit later on in the program, I'll be chatting with Roger Samuel, former member of Parliament for Arima, making certain claims, making certain pronouncement. But as of now, the discussion in Trinidad and Tobago is about race, about discrimination and what have you. And as such, I want to present a beautiful song for you. It's by a young lady, 13-year-old Trishana Sukdeo, out of South Trinidad, calling on us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, let us build a nation together. Let's listen to this selection by Trishana Sukdeo.
Let's build back our nation together. Now the election back and I die away. In short, this is what I have to say. Let us forget fight grudges and concentrate. Come, let us sit and try to relate. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I see that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, let us build a nation together. Remember, the key to success is working hard. For our country, we must have regard. Forget all your differences, let we start to build. And onward to progress, we surely will. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I see that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, let us build a nation together. So much of things that we need to see about. Surely I do have to spell them out. Cause we know this is the only way. It's putting more effort and less play. Because now, more than ever, we must show discipline, tolerance, and production to build a strong and better nation. I see that is the main foundation. So come, let us work hand in hand, because this is our land. Come, my brother, come, my sister, Seed Studio.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back, and thanks for staying with us here at 975. Good morning, and welcome to our program. Good morning.
Good morning, Kendrick. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
And good morning to you, Larry. How are you keeping, my friend?
Well, I keeping good. I heading up to the Mayaro area to work that you said I watch it down south and I've seen it be overcast in the southern area. So we could get some showers according to the weather forecast. That'll be great. No, we will flood anyhow you take it, we will flood. Kendrick, now that the election is over, and recounts are taking place and pronouncements are being made, I would very much appreciate if all the different political parties that we have in this country talk to their supporters and try to follow the guidelines set by the ministry and the CMO. Because we all know the minister is saying, do not test our parallel health system that he has put in place for this country. And today we are seeing that is happening. And if we continue on the way we are going, Kendrick, before the year is done, we could surpass 2,000, according to you said this morning, our doctor told you that. We could surpass that, Kendrick. Maybe in about a month or a month and a half to come, we can surpass that figure.
And if the trend continues, as of yesterday, we would have recorded 78 cases, yeah?
That's the reason why I'm saying it. Let all the political parties ask their followers, their supporters. Now is the time that we have to come together to put this virus in a certain area that we don't want it to keep on going the way it's going. And it is a little too late to make this call, Kendrick.
All right,
because we were saying this before.
The other question that comes into the narrative is this. School is set, and let me say set, or due to open on September 1st. And the chief medical officer would have said we can expect more and more cases as a result of people not adhering to the guidelines and the mass movement of people, which we would have witnessed in the recent general election campaign. Now that school is due to open on September 1st, so how challenging this could be for both the teaching population, parents and students, and more so by extension the Ministry of Education?
Kendrick, I spoke to a number of my clients I visit on a daily basis, right, as a salesperson. I have a number of clients. They let you know I have 750 clients to deal with within a month. That's my portfolio in my work. And some of them personally tell me whether or not school is opening back, they're not sending their kids out to school. They're not taking that chance. They can say what they want. They say this virus has gotten out of hand. They're not sending their children to school. I, as a parent, Kendrick, if my son was in Trinidad and school open back, no, Kendrick. No. I'm not taking that chance.
Well, the country which we all have a tendency to gravitate towards, the United States, the virus is raging in over 5 million people.
Kendrick, every day I sit down on CNN for about an hour and taking everything. And I do not know if people are really watching the outside world to see what is happening, especially in the States. But we in this country, Kendrick, we will like the bacchanal, the mayhem, the propaganda, the tongue lashing. We will love that more than anything else, but to follow the guidelines. I mean, oh God, it's frightening now, Kendrick. Kendrick, I call many of my friends and tell them, do not come by me, you know. We have WhatsApp, we have Messenger, or you call me, or you go see me on the phone. Do not come by me, because I'm not entertaining anybody at my home. When I done work, I go straight home. First thing I do, Kendrick, I change. No, listen. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you how serious this thing is, Kendrick. Kendrick, I leave my shoes out in the yard. I take off my clothes downstairs and I take a shower immediately. And there's a process I go through every single day. Because remember, I am on the road working.
No, I'm expressing to you how serious it is. And we in Trinidad and Tobago have a tendency to take everything quite easy indeed. The presidential candidate, Joe Biden, together with his running mate, I think her name is Kamala Harris. I stand to be corrected. I think it's Kamala Harris. They have now started the narrative. They have now started the discussion where they are lobbying to make the wearing of masks mandatory.
Okay, there you go. There you go, Kendrick. But why it is... Now, let me say this, eh? You know, you wouldn't like when I say this, but I am going to put some blame on the CMO in this country. You know why? I blatantly tell you yesterday that the Prime Minister said that they are taking instructions and guidelines from the CMO. And I can pull that clip and send it for you. And if the CMO is hesitating to ask the government when it is sworn back in to make this mandatory in all citizens in this country, then we're going to have a major outbreak that we will cannot and we will not come to an end. Because you know why, Kenrick? This is not important to the people of this country as yet. You don't want it to be important, and I will tell you again, only when we start to see the funeral homes piling up with bodies. And then we might take it seriously. So I am calling upon the CMO. Sit down with the Minister of Health to be. Sit down with the elected Prime Minister and the Minister of National Security, who he may be, and get this thing going, because it is getting to our state, Kenrick. You are safe, I am safe. And I don't know how much time we got beg on this frequency. Maybe they're listening. Mr. Hines will be listening. Right? And now is the time. That song it has played there? Wonderful. Now is the time that we as a country, we as a people living under the clouds in this country, we need to understand where we are compared to the rest of the world. Now we are seeing cases popping up. It is more frightening. We were comfortable when we had imported cases. But now we see it spreading sporadically in community. And every day some officials getting it. Kenrick, it is a worrisome situation. I cannot even feel comfortable anymore.
All right. Well, I hear you, Larry. And more than that, too, some cases are reported in our security agencies, the Trinidad and Tobago Coast Guard, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. It's all over. Let me again remind you of the figures. It's 404 thus far. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I correct me if I'm wrong here? Did I hear the CMO say that after this the election that we might get some more cases?
Yeah, well, no, he said that we can expect a spike in cases given the movement of people within the last recent weeks or days, and more so the fact that as a people we are not adhering to the guidelines and so on. Go ahead.
So why you didn't tell them to postpone the elections? That it's not safe to have the elections just yet. That we could end up in a big problem.
That question or that issue does not come to the fore. An election, the country would have engaged in an election. The results are out. We have to move forward from there.
Yes, but what about the after effects of the election now? What about if they have a spike and they can't handle it? They would, you know what they would say? You know, we should have hold hand on that election. That is the election that caused it.
No, well, who knows? Maybe the chief medical officer would have issued some sort of advice to the government of the day, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley and so on, but they still went ahead with the election. We would have exhausted that conversation already, whether election should have been postponed or not.
I just hope it don't have a
and the Prime Minister would have been on record of saying, I'm only paraphrasing here, that the election, the date of the election is not guided by the figures of COVID-19.
Okay.
All right, my friend. Yeah, well, thank you very much. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kenrick.
Good morning to you, sir.
Paying people was call election now.
That's why I have a tendency to play on this program a song by Maestro called as people, we do not know what we want, you know.
Same people were saying call the election now. The same, you see now, here what we ask, here we boy Mr. Salesman asking for. That the government, if they get into office, should make this thing mandatory, and the government, you're trying to predict, because Kamla Prasad Bisesa didn't do the right thing as an opposition leader and went along with the government and tell her supporters to support this and support Mr. Here what I tell you, hydroxychloroquine, she supported one man. And you realize what's going on, Mr. Kenrick? They're going on try out, I think, Brazil, and who again? Drawing up with China. Brazil must be drawing up with two or three different countries to try out this new drug. I think Putin has his own.
Russia.
Yeah, right. Russia has his own. Mexico is going on try out one with somebody. America ain't trying out none. And you realize when they're going and try them out, mostly or Brazil has the second largest infection in the world. So Putin trying his own and Brazil going and try one, and I forget what other Latin I got. So whenever we say underdeveloped countries or countries who have a large poor population, you go in and because nobody didn't have clinical trials yet to tell we.
So they're using these countries as guinea pigs.
And that was obviously because you are the largest, so who are going to try it out? And we sit down here and still imagine that they have a man in a boat with so much Venezuela. He's before the court this morning.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And we have a group of police down in a particular community, not a person in the village, come out and say, police officers, your commissioner of police asked for them to take a lie detector test. Not even the representative for the community who talking about crime. And then talk to the same Venezuelans. Because why? The line that the political or the opposition leader took at the time carries we along this road. And today when COVID is about to take we now, they want to kill Mr. Parashram. And if Mr. Parashram didn't give the Prime Minister the advice, and why we call the election now, Mr. Kendrick, enjoy your day.
Well, I share your frustration, my friend. Because as a people, I really believe we really do not know what is it we want. We really don't know. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Kendrick.
Good morning.
Just to tell Mr. Sarge, your last caller there. Since February month or January month, I've been following this COVID. Remember, I deal with a lot of Chinese in China with our company. And I have been making calls on this frequency since maybe January month. It said today I talk about COVID-19. Let me just remind him. I do not belong to the PNM. I do not belong to the UNC. I don't belong to no political party. I have no affiliation. And if I saw something, I was getting direct information from some of the CEOs in the company that we deal with in China. And I made it clear on this radio frequency, we're going to have an outbreak if we do not make the proper decision in a short space of time to come. Well, it is too late. That's the reason why I've been hammering. I have done a lot of written blogs on Facebook, warning people of certain things, identifying certain things, and nobody not listening. So when I make this call and say the CMO, the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, said to the population that he is taking advice from the CMO and he is following the science. Today we are seeing the science on a different level. The country has not gotten a new government or a new Prime Minister, the case may be. But the Prime Minister sitting to be sworn in know what he has to do. And if Biden and his running mates decide to get things going to make it mandatory in that country to wear masks, why are we not talking that discussion instead of race? Because this is life and death. It's not only about business, it's about life and death. And those people who are vulnerable, including myself, we are very much more concerned than the average person who are healthy. So we have to make ourselves prepared. That's why all the different precautions that we can take of the people with respiratory illnesses, Kendrick, we are doing it. But when you have the rest of the population not following it and putting we at risk, if they don't like their life, I love my life, right? So I just want to tell Mr. Sarge, since January month, I've been following COVID-19. Not today. And I've been asking the CMO and the Prime Minister then to make certain decisions. Don't blame it on Kamala. I'm not a Kamala supporter. Let me get that clear. Right? Have a good morning, Kendrick.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Larry, for your contribution here with me this morning. Well, I started the discussion yesterday, given what the Chief Medical Officer and Dr. Avery Hines would have said at that press conference. Maybe it's about time that the government of the day mandate all citizens of this country to wear masks, especially when you're out in the public. I don't know whether that discussion will continue or if the Prime Minister-elect will, move forward with this measure. Anyway, stay with us here, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. A bit later on, I'll be chatting with Roger Samuel, a former Member of Parliament for Arima. This as it relates to an issue which is now on the public domain. Stay with us here, 975.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card, and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. Our Forest Building, Rosha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
Free to hold election. An election is due before September. Free to hold election. So what do you do?
This is Samaru Ramrup inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Let's talk Guyana. Join me, Umaratan Singh, as I bring you news, updates, information, culture, and traditions of Guyana. Let's talk Guyana, Mondays to Thursdays, just after the 10 a.m. news headlines on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Well, I've been trying to get in touch with Roger Samuel, the former Member of Parliament for Arima, but thus far I would have failed to get him on the line. I'll try him back in about 5 or 10 minutes or so, because I want to get his thoughts on this matter, where claims are being made that poll cards were found in the bushes somewhere in the Arima area. And according to Colm Imbert, the chair of the People's National Movement, well, he would have rubbished those claims. And I just wanted to get Mr. Samuel a take on all of it. But as I said, I'll try him back a bit later, right here on 975. Yeah, you can call me this morning at 636-7547 and 227-5739. You're with the morning program. We're heading up to the hour of 8 o'clock. That's about 25 minutes here to the hour of 8. And that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Well, before I went to that commercial break there, we were talking about COVID-19. The implication it can have in this country, the impact it can have in this country. And well, let me take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Morning, Kenneth.
Hi, good morning, friend. How are you keeping? What's going on with you this morning?
First thing I want to wish you a good week. That's the first thing.
Now, you see, this weekend, I keep in my butt home. You know, I was supposed to go in a little lime tonight.
I ain't going no way.
But
it could be who asked you to come. I ain't going no way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure about that, and I do that all the time.
Because
if I have to go somewhere, make sure I have on my mask, and I'm going. I have to go and buy what I have to buy and come out back and come in.
Because
I'm going nowhere.
I don't want to contract this virus, you know, because I enjoy talking to you, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, on this frequency.
Well, I enjoy hearing Omar's voice and this next one, Biki's voice.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want it to happen to me.
Yeah, because should I contract this? Well, here what? All these people will have to be quarantined, you know. Even my good friend who is sitting opposite me, Shiva Parasram.
So this one I charge for bringing in this vehicle. I want to charge it for. They say what they charge it for.
No, a second conviction can dig deep into your pocket, you know, is $100,000.
Yeah, but whatever charge it for trafficking in human.
Mm-hmm.
I want to charge it for bringing them in.
Mm-hmm.
I want to charge it for trafficking.
Yeah, but hold on. They're charging these people for bringing them in. That is the boat captains and what have you. But what about those people who are employing them?
Well, this is all that he's saying, that the people who have the paper and you employ them, we have no problem on that.
Mm-hmm.
How about the illegal people that who do have the paper and they employ them? That is the problem we have. So that is what the government is supposed to be checking on. Whoever the government is supposed to be checking on when they come to do what they have to do. That I expect that to be happening when they show it. But right now, I want them to put a good jamming on this boatman.
On this
and
one?
I want them to keep some of them from Cedras down there.
Mm-hmm.
and drop it on them too. So let me see what's going on. I'm happy for that. And in the COVID now, you see this step-down facility that's full up. When they get sick, put them and sit down in the corridor. They complain on the TV and the papers and things, how they put them in the corridor, sit down.
And I know that over, I think it was 100 nationals came into the country last week Saturday, yeah?
Yeah, but I hear even any of them test.
Well,
even any of them, what happened to them?
Well, you realize that call now has now been swept under the carpet about opening the borders for our nationals to come home.
I so happy start 22-19. You see me? I happy for that. But what I'm saying, the same way that they complain when you go to a month home and you can't get a bed and you're taking the doctor taking long to see you and you sit down in the corridor and you line up and you can't get medication and you can't get this. When they get the COVID, they just sit down in the corridor in the step-down facility and wait the turn.
You realize something, my friend, on social media, more so on Facebook, that no one is commenting about nationals wanting to come home. Nobody's talking about that again. Everybody talking about now how the PNM quote unquote thief the election. But let me tell you and the listening audience, an election in this country is not run by the People's National Movement or any government. It is run by the Election and Boundaries Commission.
Exactly.
And let me state emphatically here, and who vex laws. I would have worked for a general election as a poll clerk many years ago. And let me tell you, it is very, very difficult to thief an election. It is very difficult to engage in fraud in an election. Difficult. Sure. Not that I'm saying it will not happen, but it is very difficult to do so.
But,
who vex laws?
When I went to vote, I could tell you, when you're checking the ballot, I could tell you that while you're checking it, how the people sit down there. And what I am gathering is that even the opposition and trust your own people to put them there. That is why all these things taking place. If you trust your own people and you put them there, you're supposed to be trustworthy. That what happened, where you recounted and recounted. Look how much discrepancies this fella say you have up in St. Joseph. Nobody told you to go and do no work for nobody. You only was campaigning. The amount of work I see on the papers he doing. He owns St. Joseph. You understand? All that kind of thing will put you back to the wall now because you spend money. You'll be financed and all that thing, and you'll be missing a father later.
All right, friend. Well, thank you very much for your contribution here with me this morning. Now, we're talking here about the poll cards, and I just want to remind you of what Minister Colm Imboto had said. He said, all I want to say is how convenient that a former UNC minister found poll cards in the bush and expects us to think that whoever threw them there, that is the place to throw them. If you are going to commit some kind of fraud and somehow get your hands on poll cards, you'll throw them in the bush for everybody to see. And why is it the former MP is the only man who knew about these poll cards? We think that too is convenient. Hence the reason why I'm trying to get him on the line this morning. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning, Kenrick.
Hi, good morning, Skipper. How are you doing? What's happening?
I waited for cricket.
Well, 18 on the 18th, next week, boy.
Yeah, boy, we have to wait. Yeah.
At least we can't go to the games, but at least we can view it on television, yes?
We could listen.
Well, sorry, I didn't mean, no offense taken, eh?
No, I go for it, don't worry.
Go ahead, what's on your mind?
Remember, I could put on my TV and I could put on my radio.
Mm-hmm. Yes, true. Yeah.
Anyhow, well, the COVID situation is, well, at one time the politicians wanted to refrain from saying it's rapid, but now they have to say it rapid.
Well, it will be rapid, and we will see a spike. And as a matter of fact, one of my friends, who by the way is a doctor, would have told me last week that given what we are seeing, the trend by the end of this year, we can record over 2,000 cases in Trinidad and Tobago.
Well, and I see if we thought that Dr. Rowley was hard to give 5 weeks for election, Jamaica is tougher. 3 weeks
for an election, yes.
So Jamaica, they would have election on the 3rd of September.
And note that Jamaica would have opened their borders partially, so to speak.
Jamaica have more cases than us.
Right. They would have had about 500 or 600 cases.
And they opened their borders back to normal service. So, sorry, it might be interesting to see what comes out of that. In the meantime, I am not going to say who is right and who is wrong with this count. Everybody has, the party have a right to request a recount. Whether we think it's wasting time or not, that's a different story. But remember, back in 2000, we had we was without. Well, I mean, the government is still in charge, right?
Yes.
But we were without a reinstalled government for 10 days.
Oh, that's you're talking about the 1818 situation.
Right. Remember when the president announced his decision on the evening of December 24th. Right? So it means that you still have to wait a few days thereafter.
You know, I remember that evening quite well.
I too.
I was in Faizabad.
I was in Mbakade where I was living.
In the company of some members of family.
Right.
Having a nice time when the decision was taken.
Yes.
Based on moral and what?
And
spiritual values. Yeah. I remember that evening very well, Bawani.
I remember that evening because I was living in Mbakade.
No. Mbakade.
Mbakade, in the back of San Fernando.
Yes.
And you know there it was a strong PNM stronghold. And the uproar that took place, partner, what? You sure like Santa Claus come before time. You understand?
Jubilation.
Yeah.
All right, to get to your substantive point this morning, Bawani.
Well, my substantive point is we have to continue to watch. We have to continue to be observant in terms of COVID-19. And I fear that after next week Thursday, we might see a partial lockdown.
I don't think so. Based on what the Prime Minister would have said, this country cannot afford another lockdown. We do not have the necessary finances.
Yeah, financially, yes.
Yeah.
But then Tuesday, he say if it has to happen, everybody got to band the belly and sacrifice.
Well, he said it's the last resort.
It's the last resort.
Yeah, it's the last resort.
But with the students coming out for common entrance next week.
Well, and that is the point I made this morning. Nobody took me up on that, you know. I talking about students writing common entrance on the 20th of this month. Right? And then we have school opening on the 1st of September.
Well, that school opening is very unlikely, in my humble opinion. That is very unlikely.
Because I have relatives who are teachers and they are very, very, very scared as to how they will be able to proceed.
But I think the common entrance, I don't have they can go ahead with it and ease the stress.
Yes.
But the school opening, I don't think that will happen.
But you listen to me, we are in the month of August, you know. A school reopening in September.
Yeah.
So you have to assign students now to let's say Form 1 and the infants and so on. So it's a real challenge for the Ministry of Education. I can tell you that.
It is for the ministry, but you see, the Form 1 students would not know their fate until perhaps the end of September, early October. You understand?
So what are your thoughts? I mean, today is the 10th of August. School is...
No, boy, today is the...
The 14th, sorry. Yeah. Today is the 14th of August. We have just, about 2-3 weeks again before schools opens in September.
Basically.
I think a decision needs to be made, yes?
I think that decision will prolong school for another month. You understand?
So
in the first instance.
You're looking at October?
Yeah. Because some places around the world have said, okay, we're going to January, you know. But I know if we continue this what do you call it, the online forum, some children will still be put at a disadvantage. And I've heard from some people who have children going to school, and they say the teacher never sent them a thing because some teachers just lackadaisical. You understand? So some teachers have worked very hard. Some of them send lessons every day.
But you note that the teachers are human beings too, you know.
Exactly.
They too exposing themselves as other people are exposing themselves.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying, those who send lessons online, some of them send, some of them don't, unfortunately. So I don't know how they could correct that system. But in the meantime, we just have to be cautious, and I don't think school will open in September, to be honest with you.
All right, Bawani. Well, thank you very much. I'm talking about cautious. Again, I am making an appeal to the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, if you do have to venture outside, please wear your mask. A mask now must become part of your possession whenever you enter outside people. The time in the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is just about 11 minutes here to the hour of 8 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Let's go to a very short commercial break. I'll try to get Roger Samuel back on the line again. If that is possible, we'll have our conversation with him. Stay with us here, 975.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liquor, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liquor, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio is now on Facebook. Like us, follow and share our page. We'll be sharing the latest news, tips and much more. You can also view what's happening in our studio. Find us on YouTube and subscribe to our channel at RCL U975.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus. My name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
You can now listen to business news Monday to Fridays at 5 p.m. Get updated on all the latest business developments. Tune in to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, where we keep you informed, educated, and entertained.
Yes, well, my apologies indeed. I know that I've been telling you all morning that I've been trying to get in touch with one Roger Samuel, the former member of parliament for Arima, to get his thoughts on this claims being made. Of course, those claims would have been rubbished by the chairman of the People's National Movement, Colm Imbert, concerning the discovery of poll cards in some bushes of Arima there. But thus far, I would have failed to get him on the line. A bit later on, just after the 8 o'clock hour or so, I'll be chatting with Omar Khan, former Trinidad and Tobago and West Indies manager, to get his thought in preparation of for the Caribbean Premier League. Note that the Caribbean Premier League will be bowling off next week. And these matches will be played at the Brian Lara Cricket Academy down in South Trinidad, Tarouba to be exact, and also at the Queen's Park Oval in Port of Spain. All these matches will be carried live. So those of you who want to view those matches, well, you can catch it on television. Note that this tournament will be played in a bubble, so to speak. No spectators will be allowed into the venues. And given the rise of COVID-19 in this country, well, then we can expect more and more restrictions in terms of the movement of media, people, and what have you. So it will be quite interesting and very, very challenging. So these are some of the issues, some of the concerns I want to raise with Omar Khan. A point was also shared by Darren Sami, where he said that the Trinidad and Tobago Night Riders, these players are contracted by the TKR, so they are at a disadvantage going into going into this this tournament. Well, there are a number of issues we will talk about, but first, this matter concerning COVID-19, and I'm sure by 10 o'clock today, we will have information coming to the fore that at least there are more and more cases reported in this country. Very frightening situation indeed. So the discussion, the narrative this morning is whether or not it should be mandatory for nationals of this country to wear a mask. Yeah, I would have started that discussion some 2 weeks ago, even before the announcement of the general election. And the chief medical officer this week would have said that given the movement of people and the fact that people are not adhering to the guidelines, well, we could be in for a very overwhelming situation indeed, folks. And well, a situation which, if we do not behave ourselves in a particular way, we will not be able to get to come to grasp as to what is happening outside there. 5 minutes here to the hour of 8 o'clock. We're heading up to the 8 o'clock hour. Let me keep you a bit entertained as I prepare for the 8 o'clock newscast with Nicole Dookie. Stay with us here, 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. I want to play the selection for you to keep you a bit entertained this morning, because I've been talking about this selection for a while now. It's called Mr. Trinidad, and it was composed and sung by a maestro, talking about, as a people, we really do not know what we want. Here it is.
Mr. Trinidad, tell me what scene you on. Do you just like political confusion? You criticizing the way you live, yet you can't produce an alternative. You say you against the power structure, you ain't like the opposition either. But take care, you jump out the hot water and end up in the center of the fire. Because you refuse to vote in election, but then you want revolution. You're strongly against communism. You walk out on colonialism. You say Eric William had to go, but who to replace him? You ain't know. So to make a long story short from in front, Trinidadians ain't really know what they want. My friend, if you don't want democracy, the opposite is guerrilla activity. If you don't want democratic improvement, you have to want a revolutionist government. And yet when Guy Harewood went in the hills with Jennifer Jones, you let them get killed. All you're doing is grinning and skylarking. You come like the ass in the lion's skin, because you say Robinson is a traitor. You say worse than that about Granger. You say Kamal seeking his own interest. You call Millet a Marxist-Leninist. You are ODAC, neither DLP, and you say DNM is only ratchetty. Well, you tying up yourself. I gonna tell you why. Trinidadians just like plenty mama guy. Trinidadian talking black power. It's not wrong for a man to love his culture. Yes, you walk around with your Afro plait, and you're dragging Alpagat and Patsapat. But although they're rapping about Africa, you're eating roti like if you're born in India. So who you gonna blame when you make your book and end up like a cat on a hunting rope? Because you say you're going Afro all the way. Let you smile when they bring in Tony May. William say he want to retire. You beg him to stay a little longer. You reject Carl's act on public order. Now you want it same Carl for Prime Minister. Like your sense of reasoning goes and comes. It won't surprise me if you call back Albert Gumbs. You say that you didn't want no dictator, yet you want one fella to reign forever. Abbott Malik, you say he guilty. Parmasadi the same, yet you set him free. Long ago you didn't want Fidel Castro, but now you say the same Castro is a hero. Well, this attitude, like Humpty Dumpty, you might fall off the wall eventually. Because you say Butler was too high-handed, Stephen Maraj uneducated. You say that we can't trust Jamada. You find Sukaran to Konkosa. You say the accent is on the young man, yet you run and call back Ashford Sinanan. But you won't call back until you call disaster, like the colonial days of the slave.
Time has come. New 97.5. Make it your choice. Something for everyone. 97.5 FM. Music for you. It's all about you.
New 97.5 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Power to the listeners.
It is now time for Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Elisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day.
This is the 8 a.m. news on your 97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. I am Nicole Dookie. Good morning. The recount of the ballots for 5 constituencies in Monday's general election has delayed the swearing-in of the new government. The Office of the President on Thursday advised that the swearing-in ceremony, which was scheduled to take place today, had been postponed. Following the election, the People's National Movement declared victory with a 22-19 result against the United National Congress. However, the UNC challenged the results in 5 constituencies. The swearing-in of the government members can only take place after the Elections and Boundaries Commission submit the official results to the Office of the President. ABC Corporate Communications Manager Bobby Rogers said there is no time frame in which the recount must be completed, only that the candidates had up to noon the day after the election to file their challenge. Rogers says once the ballots are recounted, the swearing-in can take place even if the matter goes before the courts. And victory has been declared for Faris Alwari once again. He is officially the next Member of Parliament for San Fernando. This comes after a recount in the constituency following Monday's general elections. Alwari spoke to members of the media following the recount last night.
We have just completed the final count for the seat of San Fernando West, and I'm very pleased to announce that the victory has been confirmed. I stand as the Member of Parliament properly elected for San Fernando West in the 2020 general election.
The recount started on Tuesday afternoon and was not completed until last night. Alwari explained the reason for the length of time.
People may be wondering why this took so long. On election night in San Fernando, we have 59 polling divisions. You would have 59 presiding officers. They would have deputies. Each of the parties would have their representatives, and therefore each of the 62 boxes counted in the 59 polling divisions would have many people counting simultaneously. In this exercise, Mr. Ramdeen, as the returning officer, had to physically check 15,000 plus ballots, as well as the polling cards, stubs, etc., for each one of the 62 boxes.
Alwari said there were no problems arising out of the recount.
I'd like to say that the exercise was a proper one. The final count that was requested by the UNC is in keeping with the Representation of the People's Act, and one can make no complaint in relation to that. The exercise conducted by the EBC under the very experienced hand of Mr. Ramdeen was an excellent exercise, and I wish to compliment the EBC for demonstrating not only what a final count looks like, but the actual accuracy of the polling itself.
Political leader of the Progressive Democratic Patriots, Watson Duke, now says he is re-energizing himself and his party for the Tobago House of Assembly elections. Despite gaining 10,367 votes in the 2 Tobago seats for the general election, the PDP failed to secure a seat. However, Mr. Duke says he's ready to regroup for the THA polls. The THA elections are due in 2021.
And we will begin by launching 3 candidates every month starting from September. So September month end, we will launch 3 candidates. October month end, we will launch another 3 candidates. And by November month end, we will launch a final 3 candidates. We are prepared to campaign with an improved message and renewed vigor. You, the people of Tobago, I thank you again, I salute you again, and I say to you, the battle is far from over.
A 45-year-old Las Cuevas man is expected to appear before a Port of Spain magistrate today. He was charged with 32 counts of assisting Venezuelan nationals to enter Trinidad and Tobago at a place other than a port of entry. The man, who is a boat captain, was arrested on Saturday when his fishing boat was intercepted by police, Coast Guard, and immigration officers. Investigators found 32 Venezuelans aboard the boat. The boat captain and the immigrants were placed in quarantine and interviewed by police. Police said boat captains are being paid as much as $300 per passenger. If convicted, the captain can face a fine of $50,000 or 3 years imprisonment, or second conviction of $100,000 or 5 years imprisonment. 10 suspects have been arrested following an anti-crime exercise in the Northern Division. According to reports, a party of officers executed a search warrant at a home on Carmen Street, St. Helena around 5:10 p.m. on Wednesday. Officers found 1 chrome and brown revolver with 6 rounds of .38 ammunition, along with 93 rounds of assorted ammunition being found. The items were seized and 3 persons were arrested in connection with the find. Additionally, the officers also executed a search warrant at a home on San Pablo Street, Valencia. They found and seized 1 black and green Glock 26 firearm fitted with 1 magazine and 10 rounds of 9mm ammunition. The lawmen also found a black extended magazine containing 15 rounds of 9mm ammunition in a wooden cupboard. 5 people were detained as a result. Furthermore, drug blocks were searched in the Arima, Pinto, Malabar, La Joqueta, and Maloney districts. An air pistol was found and seized, and 2 people were also arrested for keeping an illegal gaming house. You are listening to the ATM News on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. It's time now to take a look at regional and international developments. We start with news in the region. A request has been made for a 60-day extension to the state of emergency in the British Virgin Islands. This was made during a committee of the whole hearing earlier this week. Administration officials said they will ensure that the territory maintains access to federal benefits and assistance that arise from emergency status relative to COVID-19. Department of Health statistics show the number of COVID-19 infections has increased from 72 on June 9th to 576 through August 10th. British Virgin Island laws allows for only a 30-day extension, but the Senate has been asked to suspend the portion of the law that limits the extension to 30 days. The governor first declared a state of emergency on March 13 in preparation for the likely spread of the novel coronavirus. Internationally, the damage caused by last week's deadly explosion in Beirut continues to hamper healthcare in the Lebanese capital. The World Health Organization assessed 55 healthcare facilities in the city and found that half of them were non-functional. 3 major hospitals had to close and 3 more had to reduce their capacity following the blast. The World Health Organization also warned that in some facilities, COVID-19 prevention measures were not being adhered to. More than 200 people died and more than 6,000 were injured in the blast. The explosion was caused by more than 2,700 tons of ammonium nitrate stored unsafely in the city's port. In news of the weather for the period today until tonight, Trinidad and Tobago partly cloudy to cloudy with occasional showers and a medium chance of daytime thunderstorms becoming settled by nighttime. Gusty winds and street or flash flooding can be experienced in areas under heavy showers and thunderstorms. Seas are moderate with waves up to 1.5 meters in open waters and less than 1 meter in sheltered areas. The current temperature is 27 degrees Celsius. And this brings us to the end of the 8 a.m. newscast on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio. Stay tuned for another news update at 10 a.m. and our major newscast at noon. I am Nicole Dookie. Have a good morning.
That was Major News to the Hour, brought to you by Crystal Beverages Company, Super Quality Supermarket, Sheikh Leisha Limited, and the Trinidad and Tobago News Day. A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. For all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations, Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of meats, dry goods, liqueur, beverages, ice, LPG, gas, motor oils, stationery supplies, and photocopying. We also provide rentals of tents and chairs for your every occasion. Come in and take advantage of our specials at reduced prices on liqueur, wholesale, and retail. We are open every day, even on public holidays, for your convenience. TT Post services are available here at Kathy's Cool Spot Enterprises Limited of number 86 Pearville, Mayaro, where our friendly staff will be happy to serve you.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus, my name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
Praise Him, praise Him.
To you, Newsday Classifieds. Take Value Optical to be your partner.
I do.
I do.
I now pronounce free eye test from Value Optical for Newsday Classified customers. Call the Newsday Classified reps for more information. You may now kiss the bride.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Well, with me on the line now is Omar Khan, former Trinidad and Tobago cricket manager and former manager of the West Indies cricket team. He's very much a part of this Caribbean Premier League. He is the manager of the Guyana Amazon Warriors. So let's take him live on air. Good morning, Mr. Khan, and how are you this morning? Good morning.
Morning. I'm fine, thank you.
Well, I know that you have a very busy schedule ahead of you, and thank you very much for taking the time off to talk to me this morning. CPL 2020, certainly a challenging time for the organizers, and I would imagine even for managers of the various franchises, given that this competition is being played or will be played in a bubble. Your thoughts on that first?
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's about adjusting to the different situations, different times. Adhering, more importantly, to all the safety protocols, all the health protocols. And as managers, it's our role to embed in our players and to insist that our players have an appreciation for what is required. And, you know, it's a learning curve for them, and it's more an opportunity for them to become more disciplined. And it will also help them develop as their characters as better human beings in terms of understanding and sometimes in life that we have to go through these constraints and be a little patient and be a little disciplined in terms of your overall development.
Well, you talk about constraints and you talk about discipline. How challenging it is for you as a manager of one of the more established franchises to prepare your players for this tournament?
Well, actually, we did a lot of pre-preparation work, and that's the key to it. You know, before we gathered for this tournament and before the team traveled and whatnot, we had a lot of Zoom meetings, we had a lot of discussions, building up the players mentally in terms of having an appreciation for what was required. And in fact, we got all our players to commit, you know, verbally and written consent that they are committing to coming into the bubble and committing to adhering to all the health protocols. Because at the end of the day, without their commitment and without their understanding what is required, you know, you could have had some challenges. But, I mean, having the experience of dealing with players for a number of years and understanding they come from different cultures and backgrounds, you know, psychologically it was required of us to gear up the players before they come into this thing, to understand what they have to be doing. So, as I said, we had a lot of discussions prior to this, and we had a lot of one-to-one discussion with players, a lot of team meetings and together as a group. So in my situation, it was not that very difficult because my players are normally very disciplined players. They understand what is required of them, and we have done well so far in adhering to all the rules.
All right, Mr. Khan, as we move on with our conversation, the fact that Trinidad and Tobago would have recorded 404 cases of COVID-19, meeting and discussing with the organizers of the tournament, are there any, let's say, measures being taken for increased restrictions and movement of players and so on?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we are in a bubble. We cannot come out of the Hilton Hotel. So we are, in fact, I told my players, and I'm telling everybody, that it's safer to be inside here than trying to get outside. Mm-hmm. And we are not allowed to get outside. I mean, if you breach, that's a breach of the protocol, and, you know, there are consequences for that. So at the end of the day, the continued adherence to all the health requirements, health protocols are being emphasized over and over to all 262 people who were here at the Hilton to adhere all these health protocols. We are still maintaining. Once you leave your room, you've got to put on your mask, you've got to have the social distancing. You got to be sanitizing regularly. We have been provided with individual hand sanitizers, and to keep on us and to be as part of our personal medical equipment. So each player and each staff member has their own personal sanitizers and those kind of things. Masks must be worn. So it's strict adherence to the whole COVID situation here. And as I said, we are not allowed to leave the hotel. So initially, no one was allowed to leave their rooms. But after the quarantine period finished, then you can leave your room to move about.
All right, Mr. Khan, the tournament bowls off next week. And what's the enthusiasm like in the various camps, knowing fully well that a number of players, or rather not a number of players, some of the players would have been not be allowed into the country given the fact that they would have tested positive for COVID-19?
Well, I mean, there are only a couple of players, that is Jamaican guys,
Yes.
who did not travel.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, the majority of players are here. All the players, all the international players are here actually. We have international stars. Imran Tahir is here with us, Ross Taylor is here with us for our team. All right. The other, Chris Lynn is with the St. Kitts Patriots. You have Rashid Khan with Barbados Trident. So a number of international players are here, and they are all gearing up for the tournament. As we all know, no cricket has been played for quite a while in terms of these players having played international competitive cricket. So they want to go. They are anxious to get out on the park. They are anxious to get out on the field of play. There's a lot of cricket coming up with the IPL next. So players are looking forward to their performances. That there may be opportunities for placements and whatnot So, there are a number of opportunities for these players coming up.
All right. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr. Khan.
Yeah, and indeed, within the Caribbean players, there's that rivalry and that competitiveness. And players like Kyron Pollard, Bravo, Riyad Emirates, Nicholas Puran in our team, when they play against each other, they want to prove their worth. They have, their personal reputations to enhance. So a number of reasons why I feel that the competition will be of even more, right, excitement, more competitiveness, because this year it will be going to a wider world audience with television coverage being expanded, to all over the world and everybody following the social media, the tournament on social media and whatnot. So it's a good opportunity, and players see that as an opportunity to enhance their reputations and, put in the performances that will make them the professionals they are.
All right. Before I let you go, Mr. Khan, because I know you have a real busy schedule ahead of you, some utterances coming from Darren Sammy concerning Trinbago Knight Riders being placed at an advantage over the other franchises. You want to share your thoughts with that on me in terms of preparation and so on?
I have done that already. I've shared those thoughts already with other media houses. It's not a concern in terms of what before the tournament, before the biosecure bubble was established, right? All those things were quite clear in that the locals, the nationals, would not be allowed to enter the bubble unless the international people who came in the hotel have gone through the quarantine period. And the local players cannot enter the bubble unless they do their negative tests and go into isolation before they come into the bubble. So all those things were quite clear, right, in terms of what was happening. And the TKR players, they knew what they had to do, and if they had the opportunity to get some practice, so be it. I don't see it as an issue. At the end of the day, it's all about mental and being professionally prepared for what you have to do. When you go on the field of play, all cricketers know how to bat and bowl. So at the end of the day, whether, yes, you may not have had the match practice or the amount of practice sessions you required, but that is what we knew before we entered the tournament.
All right, Mr. Khan, I want to thank you so much. Appreciate you talking with us this morning, and all the best to you and your franchise. And maybe we can catch each other during the tournament, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah. The voice there of Omar Khan, who is the manager of the Guyana Amazon Warriors. Note, folks, that the Caribbean Premier League will bowl off next week with these franchises coming up against each other. It will be quite a very interesting tournament. I'll tell you why, given the fact that this tournament will be played in a bubble, in a biosecure environment. Note also that we have 404 cases of COVID-19 in this country. it will be quite a challenge indeed, folks. It will be quite a challenge, and one must extend kudos to the organizers of the Caribbean Premier League, all the players and all the managers for actually risking their lives, so to speak, of course, to entertain us, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and I would imagine the outside world with the Caribbean Premier League. Folks, 975 FM Hot Like Pepper, just about 24 minutes here past the hour of 8 o'clock, and that time check came to you to the kind courtesy of Radio 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. Stay with us. I'll be right back after these messages from our studio in Kufo in central Trinidad.
This is Samaru Ramru inviting you on a journey down memory lane with enchanting songs on the program Nightline. Mondays to Thursdays, 9 p.m. to 12 midnight. Let your heart sing along with the music on U975 FM, Hot Like Pepper, Multicultural Radio.
Jyoti's Puja Store is your one-stop puja store for all puja, wedding and cremation materials. Also available books, mithai and murtis made to order. Visit Jyoti's Puja Store today and be greeted with the kindest and most courteous staff with best prices and secured parking. Jyoti's Puja Store located at 542 Southern Main Road, Chase Village, Shigwanas. Contact 671-3849.
You can now listen to business news Monday to Fridays at 5 p.m. Get updated on all the latest business developments. Tune in to U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio, where we keep you informed, educated, and entertained.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Shigwanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations: Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, Endeavour Road, Shigwanas, and Cuba. For quality items, Super Quality Supermarket and Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket.
Attention all bakers, doubles vendors and roti makers. Try our high quality unbleached bromate free all-purpose and baker's flour. Low price and conveniently packaged in 2 pounds, 2 kg, 10 kg and 25 kg bags. For wholesale and retail prices, contact Shiklisha Limited 665-3336 or visit us at Warrenville, Canupia. Shiklisha Limited, quality you can trust.
Yes, indeed, and welcome back to 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. We have a call on the line. Hello, good morning, and thank you very much for choosing us. Good morning.
Yeah, the comments by Darren, Sammy, is a little unfair because, I mean, let's face it, it's a new norm. And the people, well, I don't know how many solutions you have on his team, but everybody know that CPL was coming up and you should have done some homework in your own countries to start with.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? So I think his comments, under these circumstances, are a bit unfair.
No, well, it's not what you call a perfect fit, but
No.
one must take into consideration the challenges faced by the Caribbean Premier League.
Exactly.
Yeah, and look, I think that the cricketing, the cricketing nation, cricket enthusiasts, you know, they want to see some cricket.
They want to see some cricket.
Yeah, and while you may not have everything which may go your way, you have to take into consideration, as I said, the challenges faced by the organizers of this tournament.
Yeah, this is why I'm saying that his comments was a little not comfortable.
But Bawani, do you think that the tournament itself will be watered down given the absence of, let's say, more of the established foreign players who, for some reason or the other, could not get here?
No, I think what we still have some big star names inside of there.
Yes.
But I think what it will do, it will demonstrate to the world that we have talent within the region,
Mm-hmm.
or wherever the players come from. You understand? And with as Omar said, with a larger viewership, people will now see, opportunities or once they perform to be fitted into whatever competition there is, not this year, next year and beyond.
And it also tests the mettle
Yeah.
or the resilience of organizers of this tournament, more so the local input into it, as to how best that they can prepare players and prepare for this tournament going into this bubble. If you understand my trend here.
Yeah. It is.
I can throw your mind back to, I think, was the 2006 World Cup, where where the Caribbean West Indies, the organizers of that World Cup, would have been very, very. They would have been criticized. They were taken to task by international organization and international cricket enthusiasts and commentators.
Yeah, because they have to realize that we are more because of our geographic space, etc. Because we our governments are different. It's a little more technical to pull together something like that.
Well,
unless it's happening in one country.
Well, one cricket fan would have asked me why some matches could not be played in other Caribbean countries. One must understand too is the movement of people.
That is important. Right now, the movement of people is restricted.
Yeah.
So I think you should count your blessings and say, thank God we have in cricket.
Yeah, and then there will always be this argument coming to the fore again. Okay.
Now, okay. Let's say some matches are played in Guyana. Let me say for argumentative sake. When you come back to Trinidad for the finals, where the quarantine goes? Out the window?
And more than that too, which means to say you'll be opening the borders partially to facilitate these cricketers, and how prepared would be these other territories or other jurisdiction to accommodate these players in a bubble again. That is 14 days quarantine. You understand what I'm saying?
Exactly. Do we have the facilities in some of the other countries to undertake that?
So some people raise issues and they really do not think about the issue or think about the matter which they are raising. You have to be quite logical in this.
Yeah. You have to be understanding that is a different situation. Look, let me give you an example. When the blind cricketers go to our World Cup, we don't get a chance because we don't have the resources to go in 5 days, 6 days before. Well, if the World Cup is held in India, countries like Australia and they who are in a better position will get that chance to get acclimatized. When we arrive in India today, tomorrow or the day after, things start. You understand? So we are placed at a disadvantage, but we make no noise over it because we understand the circumstance. We cannot afford to put up our players on our own because the hosting agency pays for the duration of the stay.
Well, I wanted to ask Omar this morning. It just escaped me whether we can still describe this tournament as the sporting the greatest sporting event. Or the greatest party in sport.
The greatest party in sport.
The greatest party in sport. That's not going to happen.
I see one sponsor saying you could win this and stay home and pet. You understand?
Which is good. You see, one ought to be quite innovative too, especially the business entity. Be quite innovative because a number of these matches, not relevant, all of these matches will be televised.
Right.
And you'll have families and friends gathering at homes and so on to look at the game.
What I do hope is the technical people in television don't cut for commercial during our over.
I hear you.
Same thing with radio.
Yes. I hear you, Bawani. All right.
You understand?
Yeah. Thank you very much for your thoughts with me, though. Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Cricket enthusiast indeed, Bawani Prasad. He would have made many trips abroad with blind cricketers and so on. So kudos to him and his organization, for wanting to bring some level of, let's say, happiness into the lives of those people who are visually impaired. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to Nice. Yeah, good morning. Good morning.
My heart goes out to the Venezuelan girl who was raped and stabbed in South Trinidad. What is interesting is that where the people were from. That is one point. My mind goes back to the Syrian who came to Trinidad in Tobago to save his life and make $1, and he was killed also. That's about a year or two ago. What happens now is that what is of greater interest one of the persons arrested happens to be from the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. It is very, very alarming. Thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. Well, yesterday I mentioned that, and I said that over to you, Gary Griffith, Commissioner of Police. Yes, one of the persons arrested for that heinous crime would have been a Special Reserve Police officer. And a very sad situation indeed. And I told you that out of an election or into an election campaign, the wave of criminality continues in this country, continues unabated in this country. And with COVID-19, the murder toll, COVID-19, all of these challenges are in front of us. How, as a people and as a government, we move forward, well, that's another question altogether indeed, folks. Let's take this call on the line. Hello, good morning. All right, I'm sorry to miss your call. Now, yeah, Caribbean Premier League is set to bowl off on Tuesday. And there's a story here which I want to share with you a bit. Caribbean Premier League organizers have collaborated with independent non-profit body, the International Center for Sport Security. This to tackle corruption in the upcoming tournament bowling off next Tuesday. But this is what I want you to pay particular attention to. Through its Sport Integrity Unit, the Qatar-based organization will provide technical assistance to the CPL throughout the tournament to help, listen to this, to combat match fixing and betting fraud. Let me emphasize, to combat match fixing and betting fraud, because this is happening too much in sport, international sport. Match fixing and betting. It robs the viewing audience. Yes, it certainly robs the viewing audience. Match fixing and what have you. Anyway, stay with us here. 975 FM Hot Like Pepper. We're moving up to the hour of 9 o'clock. Note that at the top of the hour, you can enjoy the Bees Hi-Fi, who will be taking you until the hour of 12 noon today with his version of Mid-Morning and You.
A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited of 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo for all your hardware materials from foundation to finish. Not forgetting all your general contracting needs. We have it all at A&S Hardware and the General Contractors Limited, located at 107 Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo. Just call Tiki Ali at 650-2180.
A&S Hardware are wholesalers and retailers of plywood, an assortment of lumber, galvanized pipe, hollow section, and steel. Customers can enjoy special prices on white pine and pitch pine doors.
KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia, for all your plumbing and electrical supplies, water heaters, filters, and water pumps, plus all parts for Gould, Pentax, and Leo pumps. Choose from leading brands such as Cooper, Varma, BTCino, Leviton, and General Electric. Call 665-6954 for more information. KY's Electrical Supplies Limited of Southern Main Road, Canupia.
Visit Eddie's Pharmacies Limited newest location inside JTA Supermarket, C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando. They offer blood pressure, blood sugar, cholesterol, and pregnancy testing, as well as all pharmaceutical products and over-the-counter drugs, along with CDAP prescriptions. Sagicor Caricare International Medical Card, Guardian Life Provider Card, and Republic Bank points are all accepted at their 3 locations of Eddie's Pharmacy Limited. RS Building, Rocha Douglas Road, Barrackpore, GN Building in Pinal, and C3 Center, Current Village, San Fernando.
For quality items, visit Super Quality Supermarket of Endeavour Road, Chaguanas, and Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin City, as well as Quality Cash and Carry Supermarket, Cuba Car Park, for all your grocery items, liquor, fresh fruits, and vegetables, not forgetting their bed and bath section, and kitchen appliances for your home. With so many items to choose from, take advantage of our great prices and discounts at any of our 3 locations. Trin City Industrial Estate in Trin Trin City, Endeavour Road, Chiguanas, and Cuba. For quality items, super quality supermarket, and quality cash and carry supermarket.
Greeted in the wonderful name of Jesus, my name is Bishop Kelvin Khan from Endurance Ministry International. Our new location is in Railway Road, Londonville. You can tune into 97.5 every Sunday morning from 6 a.m. till 8. Tell your nanny and your nana, your chachi, your chacha, your grandpa, your grandma. We need to pray for our nation. God bless you. Thank you.
Praise Him, praise Him.
Let's talk Guyana. Join me, Irma Ratan Singh, as I bring you news, updates, information, culture, and traditions of Guyana. Let's talk Guyana, Mondays to Thursdays, just after the 10 a.m. news headlines on U97.5 Hot Like Pepper Multicultural Radio.
Yes, 21 minutes here to the hour of 9 o'clock, and that time check came to you through the kind courtesy of a radio on 975 FM, Hot Like Pepper. Well, the swearing-in ceremony for the new government, the new administration of the day, is being put on hold. That is as a result of the recounts ongoing in 5 constituencies. But a question is being asked here. Why the recount at this time? Well, look, it is mandated. It is the right of these political parties to ask for a recount. It is established in the Representation of the People Act. But analysts, political commentators, they're asking the question, is it necessary? And I say that to you because the margin of victory or defeat in these marginal seats is quite substantial indeed. Let's look at the figures. In La Joquita Talparo, the difference was 1,923 votes, according to preliminary figures released by the Election and Boundaries Commission. The PNM polled 9,713 votes, while 7,790 people voted for the UNC. I'm just sharing the figures with you. In Tonopuna, it was PNM 9,460 and the UNC 7,534. San Fernando West, PNM 8,457 and UNC 6,651. Well, we heard in our newscast this morning that Faris Al-Rawi would have declared himself as the next member of parliament for San Fernando West. This after a recount was conducted. And in the Toco Sangre Grande area constituency, the PNM mustered 10,698 votes and the UNC 7,313 votes. While in St. Joseph, it was 9,354 and the UNC 8,554. So in essence, most of the differences in these seats would have amounted in the thousands, especially, except of course in the St. Joseph area where it was about a 1,000 or so. So as I said, while the recount is within the mandate of the United National Congress, I think this process should come to an end before today or tomorrow, and let good sense prevail, and let the President of the Republic swear in the new administration. Let's take another call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 975. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. That's why I like your station.
Why?
You bring up good sense and you try to educate the people. This recount is because of the shame. They cannot accept reality. They feel here is Guyana or somebody. In Trinidad and Tobago, when you're going to put that card, every party around you, pass through this one, that one, the next one, they make sure it's clean and nice. And shame is what had them recounting. You want to go to the court and this and that. It's a time when we have to think. The one they bring observers, all that, we know, everybody know that if you have a party, you bring somebody before that person go to put that number. But they show shame. I know election, there's millions they put out. And they're depending on real people, sensible people. And here you don't have them kind of stupid problems. Right? So the recount is only because of ignorance, shame, backwardness, bad mind, and dotishness. and time for the UNC to stop that stupidness. Thank you.
All right, well, thank you very much. Well, one political analyst is saying that recounts can change results if there is a big error and if the difference in votes between the two parties is very narrow. Well, I tend to agree, you know. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5.
Good morning, Mr. Kenrick. First calling for the morning. Morning, Trinidad and Tobago.
Good morning, good morning.
I mean, there are provisions in the Constitution for recount. And I mean, and whoever we feel, if they think they're justified for a recount, I mean, don't mind logic saying that in some of the constituency, the votes pass. I think they're entitled to it. But the only thing I'm looking at here now, in some of these really PNM laws to the UNC, it has some closer margins. So that means the PNM entitled to recounts as well. Like in Moruga, they can ask for a recount there because it's a closer margin than like where like San Fernando West, where the whole 3,000 separate them and so on.
But the same can be said of San Juan Barataria, yes?
Right, that's about it. So I think they're entitled to the recounts. I mean, we can't bash them for it. They're entitled to it, and at the end of the day, if they feel comfortable with it, well, after that, we'll head out to where we have to go and let everybody put their hands on deck and carry Trinidad and Tobago forward. That's my suggestion at this point in time.
Okay, no, hold on.
Yeah.
You always have a tendency to talk about education. School opening on the 1st of September.
Right.
And I'm saying that to you in the environment in which school will be opening. Thus far, 404 cases of COVID-19.
Yeah, well, apparently school like a little threat to open because what's happening here is the cases every day we get above 10 or 12 or 15. So if you multiply by now to the school open, it's really challenge being there. And then most of our schools the crowd, especially primary schools, it's very difficult to separate the primary schools. Secondary, some of the schools could be possible follow guidelines, but not the primary school, majority of them.
All right, friend.
That's the answer. Well, nobody have at this point in time anyway. Just wait and...
No, but we should start that conversation next week, whether school should open on the 1st of September.
Right. So that is... But we don't have a straight answer right now. Just we have to wait and get common sense and be guided by the medical directorate and operate the suit.
All right, friend. Well, thank you very much. Right. Yeah, thank you very much. Well, I will start that discussion next week to get the thoughts of you, the listening audience, as to whether school should reopen on September 1st, given the spike and the rise in COVID-19 cases. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Yeah, morning, Kenrick, to you and your listeners. Thanks for one program.
Well, thank you very much, friend. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Kenrick, I live in the Las Lomas area, right? And Kenrick, I could hire a car for you to come and see. If it's the condition of the road at Las Lomas and Chinchin, right? And you know what, Kenrick, what's amazing to me, boy? Recently, the government, the people, the authority, they have started to box drain, right? Which is not necessary at this point in time. But the road is so bad, it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. And I can't seem to understand it at all, where the logic in it is. Who is making these decisions for the community? Because, I mean, Kenrick, the monthly vehicles now is very, very expensive, right? And I mean, to see that the box drain casino afterwards, after you fix the road, I had no problem with that, right? I intend that, I have intention that trying to get in touch with TV6 and come and see after the finish and see the project they're doing and the condition of the road. I intend to do that because, we in Trinidad are taking full light, boy. Full light is unbelievable.
Yeah, but hold on. Hold on. Before you go, Las Lomas, that's in the, what regional corporation have that responsibility? Oricola has gone. All right, well, that's a local government matter. Yeah, that's a local government matter, and local government still exists, as far as I am concerned. But I understand. Not only Las Lomas, but I can tell you there are a number of roads throughout Trinidad and Tobago which are dilapidated indeed. And I always use the Naparima Miaro Road as an example. That's why I told you, the listening audience, election will come, election will go. We'll have a new member of parliament, a new administration in power, and whatever. But the challenges facing us in Trinidad and Tobago remains the same. The bread and butter issues remain the same. So one can jump high, jump low, talk about everything about an election, but does it really have what you call a positive impact on your life? That's the point I'm trying to make to you. Anyway, folks, it's about that time where I need to say my final goodbye for the day. But I have a caller here on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 975. Good morning.
Hey, Ken, morning.
Hey, Brian Big Boy, you survived. You survived.
Well, I always survive.
Well, I thought you would have, you would have taken a hiatus and so on, given the results. Anyway, what's on your mind? Go ahead.
Oh, well, I first would like to thank all the persons that came forward that supported the United National Congress. I would like to thank those persons from Aruga Tableland who saw that the UNC was the choice. Right? I'm sure you would have seen the news that I was in San Fernando. Right? So we're still in the process of recounting seats. And what is amazing to me, or I should say maybe not amazing, are some of these irregularities that are coming out. And these were the things that we kept talking about. These were the things that when we had our meetings and we said that these are the things we don't want to happen. And look, it happened. It is ridiculous of some of these irregularities that I myself saw. And I want to say as well that the play on fear from COVID-19 worked. Because we had where long lines were encouraged and people got fed up and they left. And why we have to tell people to go back into the line, stay in the line. They didn't want to do that because of the whole fear.
So are you saying, Brian, that those people who would have, quote unquote, had challenged and would have been challenged in voting, that these people would have voted for the United National Congress?
Well, lots of our supporters turned away.
No, but you're using the measure of COVID-19 to support your argument.
But it happened. No one can say it didn't.
No, well, I always said that. We all knew that. All those people who have been following the politics of the day knew that it would be a low voter turnout. I would have said about 55-60% low voter turnout based on COVID-19. And based on the restrictions, there would be long lines at various polling stations. And I would have also called on the Election and Boundaries Commission to extend the voting time, but made an announcement early in the game.
Well, there cannot be any extension of any time, as that was a ruling of the High Court, right? And in addition to that, well, I was also based in Tocosai Grande and Komoto Manzanilla.
So wait now, you're blaming COVID-19 for the defeat of the UNC?
No, that's not what I am saying.
Oh, okay.
What I am saying, sir, is that the fear that was put into person.
But no, that's not a fear, Brian. That's a reality. That's not a fear. That's a reality. Social distancing, 404 cases already. And because of the campaigning and the movement of people within the last couple of weeks, there's this expectation that number could rise.
And in addition to that, again, I still cannot understand how is it that persons who held positions as presiding officers, deputy presiding officers, fail to put their signature behind their initials. There's a big boast that they were trained well. And when we showed them, look, this is missing, that is missing. What more has to be done to get this Elections and Boundaries Commission to get it right?
Yeah, but hold on. There's never a perfect system. You see, I can tell you this because I worked in two elections. That's what I'm saying. You can never find a perfect fit. Whenever you find that someone is on a losing end, they will always make, and rightly so sometimes, claims of being disadvantaged and what have you. There'll always be that cry. And I remember when the People's Partnership won in 2010, there would have been the same cry coming too.
Well, at the end of the day.
Yeah, at the end of the day, note that the Election and Boundaries Commission, Brian, is mandated and charged with the responsibility of conducting an election, not a political party.
Not only that.
But if you are saying that the Election and Boundaries Commission would have compromised themselves in terms of its independence, well, that's another argument altogether.
Well, as somebody once said, said, that's a horse of a different color.
Uh-huh.
But at the end of the day, I was an election agent for a candidate.
Mm-hmm.
There were times when I literally had to speak to chief elections officer about things that I see that was happening. Right? There were many times I had to call a returning officer 10 times for one day. Right? And why did that have to happen? That should not have happened. I have had where police officers were trying to shut down our mock stations when in fact we were following the guidelines of the representation of the People's Act, right? But a police officer telling me they're acting on the instructions of a presiding officer, when I had to go to there and say, which presiding officer gave this instruction? Not one could answer me. And I made it quite, and then I have to go back outside and inform my mock station, you do not move. So you have to understand there were a lot of challenges that we were faced.
Well, Brian, I don't know how to respond to you. All I can say to you is the votes have been counted. The People's National Movement, based on the preliminary reports, would have won the election 22-19. 22-19. The figures in front of me showed that in the seats that are in contention in terms of recounts, the margin of victory or defeat is 1,000, 2,000, and 2005. And one pollster is saying, or rather one political analyst is saying, where he's talking about the observer is not supposed to interfere in the electoral process. The observer cannot prevent electoral fraud. But at the end of the mission, they write a report and it is widely publicized. The parties who usually ask for the recount, I think they do it because they either believe there's some discrepancy or they feel that they have been prejudiced in some way because of the electoral process or because of the very counting of the ballots. But as you said, you would have been a candidate agent, and when the ballots are counted, it is counted in front of you. But if you are saying that people would have been prevented from voting, but that compromises the whole situation. Let's take a call on the line. Hello, good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, sir. Good morning.
And good morning to you.
I want to say something to Brian. He is a true politician. A true politician. He loves his leader. And every time you notice when he calls his station, it's something to do with something wrong with the government, so he's there to make objection. But the race is gone. Somebody won already. So why have all this thing that we go and recount and all kind of thing? They can't win the election. Popular vote cannot give them anything in government. So I think they should back down, concede defeat, and back down and get running to the SDSs in this country. Thank you.
All right, my friend, I hear you. Well, I thank you. That's the point I'm making this morning. Allow the country to breathe now. We've been going through a number of challenges. We need to breathe at this time. And while we breathe, no doubt, note, folks, that we operate in a COVID environment. Anyway, let me take this final call on the line. Hello, good morning, and welcome to 97.5. Good morning.
Good morning. Can I look at it from a different point of view? All the problems that they're having, right? They could use okay, we had problems here. Let me see, look what kind of problems we have, and try and fix it for the next general election, so that they don't have these kind of problems reoccurring.
All right. Well, I hear you. Well, getting it right has always been a challenge for all agencies. Yeah, there will always be people who will demonstrate dissent, and there will be always pockets of resistance. Is getting it right. That's why I played that song for you this morning by Maestro. As a people, we really do not know what is it we want. Hello, good morning. Welcome to 97.5. Good morning. Yeah, good morning, Kimoti.
Good morning.
I told you I was going to tell me people will eat grass this morning in Kimoti. I told you I was going to tell me people would eat grass now.
What are eat grass? I tell you, go wait and you go see yourself.
All right. I hear you. No, Kimoti, I remember at the results of one general election, Kimoti would have said, quote unquote, people will have to eat grass. Well, I see no people eating grass as yet, no Kimoti. Anyway, this is the final caller for the day, folks, because the Bees Hi-Fi is already in the studio with me. Good morning and welcome. Good morning.
Pleasant morning, Kenneth. How are you, man?
I'm doing fine this morning, friend. How are you keeping?
I'm just fine, Kenneth.
Go ahead.
Kenneth, you know, in law, there's a process called reductio ad absurdum.
No, I don't know. I'm not of a legal mind, but explain to me.
That is where you take an argument to its lowest point of absurdity.
Oh.
That is what Brand Big just did there. Thank you very much, Kenneth.
About being absurd, yes. Anyway, folks, take care of yourself. I'm out of here. Remember social distancing. The number of positive cases of COVID-19 in the country is 404. So wherever you're going on this weekend, if you want to have good company, take 975 FM Hot Like Pepper with you. I'm Kenrick Jaggernaut, handing you over to the Bees Hi-Fi this morning. Stay with us here as we continue to keep you informed and entertained on this Friday morning. Good morning, people. Take care. You can join me again on a Monday morning, just after the 6 o'clock hour. We'll continue to look at the issues of the day. Good morning, people. Take care.
Kathy's School Sport Enterprises Limited, number 86 Pearville, opposite the TSTT Exchange in Mayaro. We specialize in all types of